Well, everybody, we're back. The Throne Bros are back. Another week, episode 2. Uh, because we did the preview episode, it feels like we're on episode 3. I almost said it out of my mouth just now, but I caught myself. But I'm your host, Nando. Also, our host is the Three Eye Raven. What up?
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 3. Shout out to all the Game of Throners, Fire and Icers, House of Dragoners, the whole community.
You're all welcome. You're all welcome.
Yes.
Here at the Throne Bros podcast, we appreciate the support. Been a lot of a lot of traffic for the videos at least. I haven't checked in on the audio, but uh videos. Thanks for the support. Obviously, like, share, comment. It'll all help all of us out so we can continue to do this content for you. Let's get right to it. Episode 2 called Rhaenyra the Cruel, and we'll see why it is called that. Obviously, in this episode, uh, well, we as fans know she's not the cruel, but we know like where this title in a little bit. We start out with chaos in the castle, I should say. They're rounding up the servants, the crew, for questioning. For the hounds are smelling things. Uh, that's how it starts. It goes right to Aegon flipping out. Aegon's flipping out, beating up the little, I guess, the construction little thing, that they do of like the
Yeah, like the sculpture or
yeah,
whatever. That was Viserys's like little project that he had.
yeah.
He was fucking it up.
I remember it from the last time. But his plans for the city, how to build the city, I
Yeah.
guess, or additions. He's flipping out, mad, sad, angry. His son has just died, his firstborn, uh, and he declares war. He's screaming, "I declare war!" He's got one of his like hands there. He's like, "Calm down, my sir," and he like kind of tells him like, "Hey, like, I can't calm down or whatever. I declare war."
Yeah.
Um, any extra things that I missed there on that one,
No, I
or
mean,
when he's just flipping out?
everybody was people getting investigated. They were rounding up the people in the Red Keep.
Yeah,
But yeah, Aegon, was really mad. He wants war.
yeah. We it goes real quickly after that to a scene with Aemon where he's is it his chambers?
Yeah. He returns back to his room.
Okay, he returns back to his room. He kind of looks at like this back door that he has, like, and it's opened, and I guess he senses that there was somebody there or
Yeah.
something, and then he seems to look at his table, and then under the table he finds a coin. Um, does that like was that a tell? Like I guess for him was that left in purpose?
Well, in the last episode, he was in that room with Cole going over the war plans.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And if you remember, he left like the coins on the map, like spotting out like the positions and stuff.
Yeah.
So when he came back in the room, he saw all the coins were gone, and then he found the one coin on the bottom. Now, supposedly that coin that he found was some like a foreshadowing.
Okay.
I couldn't get a good look at the coin, but supposedly it has like Harrenhal on it,
Okay.
and it's like a foreshadow to Aegon. And,
So what we're going to what you hinted in
yeah,
the preview. This might be the maybe not. I'm getting ahead of myself. This might be that scene that's kind of like the or upcoming battle between the two top
no,
block.
no, I don't think it's that soon yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we still might have a couple more episodes until the the big one.
Okay. Well, that's like I said, a little bit of foreshadow. We'll keep that in mind. The Three Eye Raven will keep you in mind with that. If anything else comes of that, then we get a conversation between Allison and Otto. Obviously, Allison is crying. She's emotional. Otto's trying to calm her down because not that Allison was acting the way Aegon was acting, but she was like, we got to keep a calm thing. Otto seems to have a plan. He has the plan in mind. That's all he's thinking about. Obviously, his grandson just died, but he's trying to keep the level head here about what's next. Um,
Yeah. He
Allison,
he said something good might come from this.
yes, and
Um,
Allison's in her feelings, talking about possibly, you know, we might not know the enemy. It might just be the gods, or for whatever, because she's feeling guilty
yeah.
of like the things she might have done, the things she's done with Cole, like a bunch of things. So she's like, it could be just the gods punishing me. Um, which Otto calmly says, like, hey, doesn't matter who it was. We do have to find that out, but we're gonna make it Rhaenyra. That's gonna be the plan. We have to make it her to diminish her whatever claim she was getting. So that's what that's where that conversation goes. It leads to the council meeting. Everything so far has been in King's Landing. After everything that's happened in this episode, the council, Aegon is still flipping out. He wants to. He's questioning the council. Where were you guys when this happened? Still in this room. Otto's keeping the calm. While everybody Aegon is doing this, that, the third. Um, he's questioning everybody. One of the council members, I forget which one it was or which house, but he suggests like a king may have more than one enemy. It's not the might not be the one that we think, but obviously, as they say, like sometimes when you're down, other people will come out. You know what I mean? So people might be just jumping and taking advantage is what they're implying. Like we don't know. Like obviously, Aegon is playing that we do know the enemy. Like so, like Aegon seems to want to stick to what it who it is.
Yeah.
In this meeting, before Otto lays down his plan, uh, Laris says he found a guy with walking out with a head of a kid. Obviously, it was the guard. He found the guard guy. So, and then Otto lays down the plan. We're gonna have a public funeral. We're gonna show the body. We're gonna let the townspeople see it so that they can realize what Rhaenyra did.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, he tells everyone it doesn't really matter who did it.
Yes,
We're just gonna put it on Rhaenyra, and then make her seem like she's the this cruel person.
cruel. Rhaenyra the cruel, like the episode. This is what I was
Yeah.
referring to, foreshadowing to myself. Uh yes. So next scene, it goes to the funeral. Obviously, as Otto laid the plan, he also said that it will
No,
be.
so before that, right?
Mhm.
Allison goes to Helena's room and tells her like, "Oh, we're having the funeral. Like, we have to go." And Helena says no. But Allison tries to explain the queenly duties. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, we got to do it for the realm, whatever, whatever. And then she tries to sneak in there, like, "Hey, you remember what you saw last night?" Like, basically bringing up her and Cole, like,
yeah,
but Helena kind of like brushes it off and
yeah. Not thinking
just
about that.
is
She's
more worried about you know Jaehaerys's funeral.
yeah. So the funeral happens. Obviously, like you said, Helena didn't want to do it. She's like, I don't care about the people. You know what I mean? She's traumatized, everything that happened. As the funeral is going on, obviously Otto laid out that Aegon would not be part of it. It's just the ladies. You know what I mean? While this is going on, Laris is questioning the guard who actually spills the secrets. He's like, it was Damon. He came. He wanted us to do this.
He didn't waste any time. He
Yeah,
just he just let it go.
easy without Vaseline, like
Yeah,
in there. And then it goes back and forth between the funeral and this. Obviously, the last scene from that, he's like begging for his life, because he told them the information, and then Aegon comes in to take care of, a little feel better for him.
yeah,
Um, so after all that, we finally get our first scene. in Dragonstone. Rhaenyra, the word gets back. She's speaking to her council.
So before that,
Yeah,
one thing to point out, Helena has like a crazy panic attack like during the funeral. I
yeah,
guess she couldn't handle like all the all the people or whatever. I guess thinking about Jaehaerys.
yeah,
So
for
she
sure.
has like a crazy panic attack and has like a moment with Allison. That was kind of his mother daughter
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. So
But yeah, Rhaenyra back at
Dragonstone, the word gets back to Rhaenyra. She's with her council. Some of her council are questioning it. Like, and she's like, "It wasn't me. I wouldn't do that to her. Like, I just lost the kid. It's not me." This whole time, I know you caught it. I hope the fans caught it. And as Rhaenyra is denying this and she's arguing with her council, Rhaenys is sitting there like she knew who it was. Like
yeah,
as
yeah.
Rhaenyra is like denying it because he was just this. Damon was just sitting there in his chair, just kind
That
of
scene, that scene was hilarious because like Rhaenys looks over at Damon,
yeah,
and then they like pan the camera to Damon, and Damon takes like a few seconds to like to like look over,
yeah.
and that Damon face, like, yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
But he had that face the whole time because even
Yeah,
after like when the meeting finishes and she kind of like
yeah,
is done questioning her counsel going back and forth, she looks at him and he has that like face on, like where he doesn't want to look at her, but he's kind of like it's not a
give
smile, but it's
a
like
little
a
side eye, like,
yeah. It's not a smile. It's like a weird thing where he's doing it. You guys know it. He's done it before. Um, which leads to the next scene, which is I thought it was a very important scene for like I guess us because we're you know, the nerds, I guess. But for me, I thought it was a scene between Rhaenyra and Damon where like they go back and forth. Obviously, she's telling him, you've weakened my claim, like you can't be doing this, and then she basically reveals like stuff we didn't know, like about she said she took a chance when she was a child on him in knowing that he was this like unpredictable and like selfish like person, and then like they get an argument about like why Damon's feeling on how like comes out a little bit on why his brother did what he did, naming Rhaenyra and not him, and basically Rhaenyra basically tells him like he because Damon thinks that his brother was scared of Damon, and Rhaenyra tells him like he loved you, he wasn't scared of you, he just couldn't trust you,
yeah.
and
So
neither can I.
basically, they accused each other of the same thing. Rhaenyra calls Damon. No, no, yeah, yeah. Rhaenyra says Damon is using her as a tool to
Yeah,
to get to the throne, and then Damon says that Rhaenyra was used by Viserys as a tool to punish his brother because he couldn't trust his brother.
yeah,
So it's like they're both like saying like, well, you're a tool for this, and you're a tool for that. Like,
yeah. Well, the meeting ends with Damon leaving. He leaves, obviously. As he's leaving the chambers, he runs into his daughter, Bela, and then like he doesn't like answer to her. She says like father, and then just kind of keeps going.
yeah,
Um, Obviously, she next scene is her going into Rhaenyra's chambers, where Rhaenyra basically gives her an order like, "I need you to watch over King's Landing. Take
yeah.
I forgot to write the dragon's
Moon
song.
Dancer.
Moon Dancer. That's what it had to do
Yeah.
with dance or song. Moon Dancer. She said, "Fly high, be careful." So obviously, if they fly high, they won't be spotted.
So before that, right in the council,
Yes.
Jace actually volunteers to watch King's Landing,
Yes.
but Rhaenyra shuts it down, and then basically gives it to Bela later on in that scene.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a big scene, but then there was a scene, I think it was directly after the orders and Bayla leaves, where um there's a moment where Nira and her kids, like the younger ones, and they're
Yeah.
playing with like the toys, almost the same toys we saw earlier when Helena got the visit from Allison, like about and so
Well, I think you skipped a little bit now. So before that, uh, after Rhaenyra asked Bela, we get a scene where Damon mounts Cyrax and flies off. So
Yes.
I'm guessing he's going off to Harrenhal.
Yes.
Then after that, we get a small scene where Aegon and Helena pass each other on the staircase,
Yeah.
and then like I guess like Helena is like, she's still sad about the whole thing, and she basically wants to be comforted,
Yeah.
but Aegon just kind of
Pissed.
gives her a look and just kind of keeps walking. That
Yeah.
was a little awkward right there. And then there's like a small scene right after that where they show Cole staring into the room.
Yeah. This is being
Uh,
clean, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah, while it was being cleaned, and he's kind of like you could tell he's kind of like guilty, or like he feels like bad, like I think he's feeling like regretful for what he's doing with Allison.
yeah.
Uh,
Because technically he
so
should have been there, right? Technically.
well, well, no one. Well, this gets brought up a little bit later, but Helena has no like sworn guard
Okay.
compared to like Allison, who has like Cole, compared to uh,
King.
Aegon, who has Sir Eric.
Yeah.
So like, there's no like assigned guard for her. So like, I guess like he just felt guilty, pretty much like, oh well, I was with Allison, then this happened. So yeah, you kind of see he's like regretting.
Okay.
Well, not just him. Like I feel like Allison kind of regrets her, and we saw that like earlier when she tried to tell Otto like, "Oh, I've sinned." Like,
Yeah, well, this leads you bring that up, but the next scene that we're going in order after the moment or near with the kids is actually the bath. Allison's getting starting to get a bath, and then
oh
Cole's
yeah, yeah,
outside, and then they have a
mm,
moment like where she's like, "Did you tell anyone?" And he was like,
yeah.
Who do you think like I am or whatever?" And she says, "You're an absolutist." Is that what she said?
I think that's what she said. Yeah,
And then he
someone
was like,
someone seeking
"Yeah."
absolution. I think that's what she said.
And then
Yeah,
he said, "Not about this" or something is what he said,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So that was interesting. They're on like they don't know, like they're kind of blaming each other. He's blaming himself. She's kind of blaming him, but not really. Like, I think she just feels guilty, like because she, of the act.
no.
Um. Uh.
So after that, we get the Cole and Sir Eric where he
Yes.
like confronts him, and like you can tell like he's just kind of just for
Trying
no
to do something.
reason. Yeah, yeah. He goes up to Eric, tells him, "Yo, you gotta change your cloak. That shit's dirty." Like talking about some, oh, it represents purity and
Yeah.
trust, and loyalty, whatever. So yeah, that was funny because you could tell Cole, he's feeling guilty, so he's taking basically taking out his aggression on Sir Eric.
Yeah. But then this leads to obviously the plan. Cole comes up with the plan. He says, "I know your brother's over there. I want you to go over there, infiltrate them, play your brother, and slay Rhaenyra." All right, easy enough, right?
Yep.
They're twins. They look alike. It might be the same actor, I think. I haven't looked that up. Who plays both? They might be actually
Yeah.
twins. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so that's how that ends. Obviously, it does get a little argumentative beforehand, like you said, when he's trying to like fish for something, and then the other brothers leave of the night of the cloak because there was some in it was like a eating room, I guess, like a
Yeah,
cafeteria or
it's like a
something.
dining hall or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so that the plan came after that.
Yep.
So then there's the moment with Damon. Damon's at the whorehouse, right?
No, no, no. So after that, we get a small scene of Jace and Bela. Like
Okay. Yes, yes.
they're kind of talking about Damon, and they're talking about she asked him about Sir Strong, and so they're kind of just talking about like their father figures, like
Yeah.
yeah, and he also says he misses Luke in that scene.
Hmm.
Uh, but uh, but yeah, that was just a little bonding between them.
Yeah. Then we
And
get
then we get the
Aemon,
Aemon in the
Aemon
brothel. Yep.
at the brothel where he's like in the fetal position, naked, talking to
Yeah,
this
yeah,
older
and he's
lady.
like, yeah, yeah, he's basically spilling his,
So he's got mommy issues, I think.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, he's he's opening up to this lady. I guess she's a whore. I don't know.
Yeah.
But but yeah, she's comforting him, and like there was a moment where she wanted to kiss him, but he was like, nah, nah, not here. Like,
Yeah.
you know. So
But she was like hyping him up. She was like, but the kid has become a man. Like after he
yeah.
said something, like because he was talking about how they used to make fun of him and like
Well,
getting
in
like
that
beat.
scene, he says he regrets what happened with Luke. Like he says, yeah, I know it was dumb. Like
Yeah.
I regret doing that. Like, I mean, even though it wasn't really all his fault, like he egged it on, obviously, but he couldn't
Can't fully
control
control it.
Vagar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't control Vagar. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah,
That,
he was feeling regretful for that.
yeah. Then we get was that the Smith? The scene with the Smith and
Yep,
his family.
as Hugh. Yep.
Yep. That
So
obviously key you brought it up.
I think this scene is kind of like another kind of like foreshadow
Mm-hmm.
because they were basically talking about like their
Starving.
situation and the money and things
Yeah.
like that. So at the end of that conversation, he brings up like, "Oh yeah, the king says he has us." Like, so I think that's gonna lead to the next part of his character progression.
For sure. I thought that I marked that down as key, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see
Yeah.
like where that leads. Um, we go back to Dragonstone. I don't think I missed anything. We go back to Dragonstone and Rhaenyra is talking to
No. So
Limer.
so there's a small scene
Uh,
where they show Driftmark,
okay.
where they show Adam
Rhaenys and
Valerian.
yeah.
His name's Adam Valerian,
Uh
the guy.
yeah.
So he's like, I don't know if he's like a nephew or could be like, well, he's not a bastard because he obviously has the last name,
Yeah.
but he's I think he's like Corliss's like nephew or
Yeah.
from his one of
He's
his
the guy that
brothers.
saved them, right? Well,
Yeah, yeah. So uh, those two are brothers.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
the bald guy and the guy with the dreads, they're brothers. Uh, and yeah, I think they're like nephews or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna, especially Adam, the
Mhm.
skinny one.
Yeah.
He's gonna play a big part like coming
Okay.
up. So
All right. And then we get Rhaenyra talking to the White Worm about like, she was questioning her, like, what happened? Have you seen what happened? Or heard? Not seen, but heard. And like she basically tells him, like, I just gave him the information, like I wasn't, you know, that wasn't my plan. Like, you know,
yeah.
anything key from there that you got from that conversation?
So they talk about the murder, and they also talk about Damon. I think Rhaenyra didn't really recognize Mysteria at first when she confronted her. And then once she started talking about Damon and how he just leaves and you know
Yeah.
doesn't come back for however long, she like recognizes him. So uh, they're kind of bonding,
Yeah.
because of Damon.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah. So that's
so
that.
before that scene, they do show Corlys and Rhaenys kind of having a small conversation about Damon, and
Yes.
like basically like saying, "Oh, well, I don't think he'll try to overstep, like, and
And then
basically
Renice
overthrow."
says something at the end about everything will be fine if he can get Harrenhal or something like that.
Yeah,
Like, so
yeah. So that was just a little conversation right there,
yeah.
and then we see a quick glance of Adam. He's like collecting seashells or something. I don't know, and he sees someone flying away in their dragon.
Yeah.
I don't know who that was. It might have been Bela,
Yeah.
or it could have been because Dragonstone and Driftmark aren't that like far
far
away from
away.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And this is also foreshadowing. Three Eye Raven. You said he's going to play a key part. You didn't mention in the preview. You've mentioned last episode. We're going to see new Dragon Riders. Could be he's a Valyrian. Could be
could be.
joining the
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
Back in King's Landing, all the rat catchers are hung,
Yep.
which leads to a scene that a very pivotal scene in this episode. Otto is pissed. He goes Aegon's wherever Aegon's at, his chambers, wherever he's at. He's with Sir Cole. He's telling him, like pissed off, right? You shouldn't have done that. He
Yep.
was like, well, we got information. It was a rat catcher that helped out. So I killed them all because they wouldn't own up to it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
so he killed them all, and then he's telling them how stupid that was. Otto being trying to keep his the not the peace, but like keep everybody level headed. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, this leads to an exchange. Before we get to the ending of that exchange, which is big, anything in that exchange before we get to the ending of that exchange that was key.
So Otto is confronting Aegon. He's not happy. This is when Aegon reveals the plan uh, that Cole
Yes.
made, and he's like, "Well, Cole's done, so much more than
You.
anybody else." Like,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much,
Basically.
yeah. And he tells him like, "Hey, he sent Sir Eric to Dragonstone to kill Rhaenyra." Now, obviously Otto wasn't happy about this because they're making plans behind him, and he wants to have his finger on everything. So he
Yes.
wasn't happy about that. He's asking questions like, "Oh, is he alone? This and that, whatever." And basically, he uh he basically tries to like guilt shame uh Aegon, like, "Oh, do you not think of your father?"
Yeah.
Like, and then he tells him like, "Yo, your father was right about you,"
Yeah. That
like
was
basically telling him he wasn't built for the job, basically. And Aegon responds and says, "Well, he made me king."
yes.
And then
And
Otto
you
comes
really
back and
believe that.
says, has a little laugh, a little chuckle, and then says, "Oh, i- is that what you think? He made you king?"
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is when you know the pivotal moment happens
Yeah.
after Otto says that.
And then the pivotal moment is Aegon basically, not basically, but he does. He dismisses Otto from his duties of hand of the king. He basically tells him like you've been the hand for so many kings, but you're not mine. And then basically there's like a couple of things before Otto takes off the pin. Um, and basically in the exchange he insinuates that like Cole's gonna be taken over because of like just that plan that he just had. Uh and then Otto basically hits him with the you're making a big mistake. You're not like you don't see it now, but like you're gonna regret this. And he drops it. He doesn't even hand it to
Yeah,
anyone. He drops the pin um for the hand of the king. So
yeah.
any last observations on that one before we moved on to a very we're around down in the home stretch of the
No, I
episode.
think that was everything. Cole's the new hand.
Yep.
Otto obviously isn't happy.
Yeah, which leads to the next scene. Him and Allison have another scene where he's basically telling Allison of what happened and the fact that, he's no longer the hand. He's gonna go back to Old Town
Yep.
and he's gonna be there with his son, who actually, has a level head and he might be able to help us later, is one of the things he says. And
Yep.
then Allison, even though she doesn't want him to leave, and she kind of questions like, what did Cole do? Like, why? Whatever. Um, she tells him like, can you please stop at High Garden because it seems like they might be on the fence at High
No,
Garden.
no, no. So she tells him instead of going to Old Town, go to High Garden, like,
Yes.
and recruit the Tyrells because they're kind of on the fence.
Mhm. Okay. She
And
said hold
then
her hand, right? Kind of like that, something like that.
yeah, and then she was like, "Well, listen, while you're gone doing that, I'll talk to Aegon and
Yeah.
try to get him back in in order."
And then I think this was the next scene because I know we got the big scene in Dragonstone. But I think beforehand was when after that conversation, Allison goes into a room and she finds Aegon crying. Is that what happens, or that after? Like we see the
So
Dragonstone scene.
so after so while they're sitting there speaking, Allison again brings up that she sinned, right? Says
Yeah,
like multiple
he
times,
doesn't
right?
want to hear it.
And Otto says, "Yo, I don't want to hear that shit."
Yeah,
So she walks out, and yep, she walks into Aegon. I'm
yeah.
guessing that was Aegon's room.
I'm guessing it was. I was like kind of not weirded out, but I couldn't really tell what it was, and like because she left after she saw him crying. It wasn't like she consoled him or anything. So I was like
Yeah,
confused of like what room it was.
yeah.
Um,
But basically, she sees him crying, doesn't really say anything, and then
yeah,
just walks away.
walks away, which leads us to the big scene in Dragonstone. Obviously, I thought the title might have to do with this, but the White Worm is leaving because she was given her freedom by Rhaenyra.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We definitely skipped something
Yeah,
serious because the Allison and Otto conversation
hmm
after he was stripped of the hand,
yeah,
that was the last scene. The before that, after Cole's made the new hand,
yeah,
that's when we see Rhaenyra and Mysteria talking again,
yes,
and Rhaenyra tells her, "Hey, uh, I got a ship for you. Like you're free to go."
yes.
So while Mysteria is walking to the ship, she sees Sir Eric walking up the hill and decides to turn back.
The winter.
Now, I don't think she got there in time, obviously, because he surprised everyone.
Yeah,
But yeah, so he ends up sneaking into the castle and
to
sneaking
do his
into
job.
Rhaenyra's room.
Rhaenyra's
Yeah.
awake. He gets in there. He had locked the other door on the other side, so there would be no escape. He locked it from the outside. Um, he's there. Was somebody walked in before his brother, right? To kind of keep
Uh,
him busy, or no?
I know the handmaiden was in there like doing something,
Yeah,
and then yeah, I'm pretty sure he just like walks in. And,
yeah, and stalls a little bit because obviously Rhaenyra's by herself, and then the brother comes in. Are they both named Eric?
yeah, yeah. One's Eric with an A, and one's
Oh,
Eric with an E.
okay, got
So
you.
the one with the E is the one serving Rhaenyra.
Okay,
Yeah,
so Arik basically, but whatever. We're not gonna go into like
yeah.
pronunciations.
Eric Ark. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a battle. Obviously, Eric with an E is defending his queen, and he's reluctant. It's his brother. He's trying to talk him into like their brothers are twins. They have this connection that was already talked about when Damon like tried to like corner him and was like, "Hey, like what were you doing? You could have killed the king." Like whatever. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like because Damon's trying to find a way to like blame everybody else but him. That's another story that we'll get into later. They have a battle. Basically, we don't have to go into details of the battle. It was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. We'll save that for an episode. How we're gonna rank this maybe at the end of the season because there's gonna be a lot of battles. But it was a really good one, and you could tell there was a story there, obviously, because they're brothers and the love that they both have for each other. Where like basically they were fighting, but they weren't. To me, it seemed like they weren't fighting to kill, really. Like at the beginning, you know what I mean? Like one of them got hurt in the leg. You know what I mean? Like it was like he was just trying to put him down. Like I'm just trying to put you down so I can do my job. I don't want to do this to you.
Yeah.
You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And eventually it happened. You know what I mean? Eric with a knee, obviously, right? Ended up
Yeah.
winning when he
Mhm.
stabbed his brother right in
Yeah.
under the plaque. That's how you get back then. And then he self sacrifices himself because of like the guilt of killing his brother. He
His
basically
brother, yeah.
turns to
Mhm.
Rhaenyra, says, "I'm sorry," takes the sword right and falls on it. An
Yep.
epic, I'm not gonna lie, kind of epic scene in this Game of Thrones worlds for me. I gonna lie, like, and she's shocked, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And yeah, very epic. We can get into that later and what it means for the show or like whatever, or just how it ranks in the battles. Then we get to that last scene, like we said, we did get ahead of itself. But the last part of that whole scene, after she leaves from seeing Aegon, she is in her chambers. Cole's there waiting. Um, she kind of calls him out, right, or something, or tries to like say something. I think I forget the
Well,
actual words she used because I didn't write them down, but
I don't think they had a conversation at that last part. I think they just kind of
got to it.
face to face, and then
Yeah,
like she slapped him like three,
yeah,
four
and then he
times.
took charge. I guess you could say,
Yeah, I guess he,
right, and
took
against the wall.
control, and yeah, and then they
We
did
don't
what
need
they
to get
did.
graphic on here, but yeah,
Yeah,
he took care of business. His guilt wasn't messing around that time because he's the
yeah,
heir of the king, big man. Coming from nothing to something, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Effing his way to the top, even though like Aegon doesn't know he's effing his mom. But but he might know. Who knows? People know things around here sometimes. And it's just like how to, there's gossip. There's gossip. There's gotta be a handmaid in that scene, something. It's just like, hey, like niggas
yeah,
or something. I mean, they didn't have a Varys back then, but I mean Loras is trying to be Varys, I guess.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that was the episode. Next week, uh I saw the preview, but I don't remember it. But to talk
I
about
don't, I
uh
don't ever watch the little
preview.
previews.
Yeah,
I just kind of go off
let it. Yeah,
what the book does.
gotcha.
Now we might finally get to see Damon taking over Heron Hall. Maybe some other small battle with
Oh yeah, that
small
wasn't the
smaller
previews.
towns.
There was some marching leaving King's Landing. So I guess
Okay.
they are heading to Harrenhal. Maybe I don't know where they're heading. Because it seemed like you said foreshadowing. Aemon could be headed there too because that was one of his things in the plan as well. So
Yep.
they both were thinking that. So like you said, there could be a battle. I don't know if it'll be them two, but it'll
Yep.
be obviously Damon will be because it seems like he'll get there first. Damon will be
Yeah.
taking control of or trying to take control of Harrenhal where he wants to set his, the central quarters of the whole thing.
Yep.
So there it is. But yeah, once again, thank you for tuning in, guys. Um, Myself and the 3 Eye Raven will be here every week to keep you intact, keep you informed, keep that third eye open, basically. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
until next time, see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.